Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, where we decode the cryptic language of corporate filings, and today we're digging into Lee Enterprises Incorporated's latest report, and let me tell you, it's got some interesting moves happening. So buckle up because we're about to unpack what this really means for shareholders and the company's future, and hey, before we dive in, if you are all about getting these insider insights without the corporate jargon, make sure you are subscribed. We also have an awesome community over on Discord, linked right down below, where we break this stuff down even further. Alright, so this report comes out on the 10th of November 2025, and what Lee Enterprises is telling us is that they're planning a rights offering and calling for a special meeting of their stockholders. Think of a rights offering like a special sale for existing shareholders. They get the chance to buy more stock, usually at a discount, which can be a way for companies to raise money quickly. And then there is this special meeting of stockholders. This is where the people who own the company get to vote on important things. Let's look at what's being traded here. We've got their common stock, which is what most people think of when they hear about owning a piece of a company. And then there are these preferred share purchase rights. They're registered on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. It is a bit like a two-part system they have going on for their investor relations. Now, this filing is marked as soliciting material, which means they are actively trying to get investors to agree with their plans. It is like they're putting out their case to the shareholders, asking them to consider what they're proposing. The main event in this filing is what they're calling a Regulation FD disclosure. This basically means they're making important information available to everyone at the same time. They've posted a press release on their website that talks about this rights offering and the special meeting of stockholders. This press release, which is labeled as Exhibit 99.1, is where all the juicy details are. They're saying that this press release is a big part of this report and they want you to read it. They're also reminding everyone that this information isn't technically being filed in a way that makes them liable for every little detail, but it is definitely information they want you to have. What is coming next is a definitive proxy statement. Think of this as the official voting guide for the special meeting. They've already filed some preliminary information with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, but this definitive statement will have everything shareholders need to know before they cast their votes. They're really urging shareholders to read this carefully because it is going to contain crucial information about what they're voting on. They cannot stress this enough. They are strongly advising everyone to wait for the full, finalized proxy statement and any other documents before making any decisions. This is a super important part of corporate governance, making sure shareholders are well informed. Now, they're also mentioning something about participants. This means that the company itself and its board of directors might be considered people who are influencing the vote. They're basically saying that the people in charge are definitely involved in getting shareholders to vote in a certain way, which makes sense when you are proposing big changes. And like most corporate reports, there is a section on forward-looking statements. This is where they talk about what they hope will happen. They're looking ahead to the rights offering, the vote at the special meeting, how they think it will boost the value for shareholders, their plans for raising money, and their long-term strategy. They're basically saying, this is what we're aiming for. But remember, things can change. They are also wise to warn us that we shouldn't put all our faith in these future predictions because, as they rightly point out, these statements are based on current information, and the future is, well, uncertain. They don't promise to update these statements if things change, so it is a bit of a heads up to be cautious. Finally, we get to the exhibits where they've included the actual press release identified as Exhibit 99.1 and a cover page interactive data file, which is basically a digital version of the report for easy data processing. And just like that, the report is signed off by Timothy R. Millage, who holds a pretty important role as Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer. This signature is like the final stamp of approval, saying, yes, this is what we're reporting. Now, let's get into my take on all of this. Lee Enterprises is clearly in a period of significant strategic maneuvering. The proposed rights offering suggests they need capital, and they are turning to their existing shareholders first. This can be a positive sign if shareholders have confidence in the company's future plans and are willing to invest more. However, it can also be a signal that attracting new investors or securing traditional financing might be more challenging right now. The special meeting around these proposals is also a big deal. It means they're seeking shareholder approval for potentially big changes. We need to see what exactly is in that definitive proxy statement. Are they trying to raise money for a specific acquisition? Are they restructuring debt? Are they trying to fend off a takeover attempt? The devil, as always, is in the details. The fact that they're going the route of a rights offering and a special meeting indicates a desire for shareholder buy-in, which is generally a good thing for transparency and governance. However, the forward-looking statement's caution is a constant reminder that these are plans and hopes. The market is dynamic, and media companies like Lee Enterprises face unique challenges from digital disruption and shifting advertising models. Whether this rights offering and the proposals at the special meeting will truly enhance stockholder value or are simply a way to navigate immediate financial pressures will depend entirely on the execution and the broader market conditions they operate within. Overall, Lee Enterprises is at a crossroads. And these filings are a clear signal they are proactively trying to shape their path forward. It's a move that requires careful observation, especially once that definitive proxy statement lands. Will shareholders rally behind the company, or will this be a point of contention? That's the real story to watch. Alright, that is our breakdown of Lee Enterprises' latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.